Roberts was one of the 6 justices that ruled against President Trump's tariffs, and he actually wrote the majority opinion. So it would be interesting. I would half expect President Trump to say something like, "I'm still tariffing. How do you like that, John Roberts?" Something like that.
You mean sort of shame the Chief Justice there?
Well, we know that he doesn't have a problem shaming people on social media because he's called several people out for years on Truth Social.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not he does it from the podium of the Capitol, I can't say.
Do you think anybody on our side, the Republican side, is going to tear up the State of the Union, though?
Well,
now you got so behind the president tonight will be Vice President J.D. Vance and the House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Johnson, yeah.
So
nobody back there.
So no, there's Nancy Pelosi will not be
tearing up the
speech.
Yeah. Now, actually, approximately 36 Democrats are going to boycott or skip the State of the Union. They're going to do their own little alternative event.
Well, that's not a bad timing because that can make room for the last edition of the U.S. hockey team.
Yeah.
Right? You hear about this? The U.S. hockey team, the gold medal winning U.S. hockey team's going to be there tonight.
They're going to be there at the speech tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I saw I saw a portion of the phone call where Trump called the team just in their celebration room right after their victory, and he, of course, recognized them, did his Trump thing, and was a little and had some fun with it. And everybody laughed, and he invited them over. He said, "If we make room, y'all think y'all could come?" And they were all, let's go.
Yeah.
So,
I do have some audio of the hockey players talking about being honored to be there tonight.
I do want to play that. Now, the practical implications here are there's limited seating in the House chamber, okay? So I just wondered, somebody had a panic attack when President Trump said, "Y'all come to the..."
Yeah.
Okay? Because I guess it was Mike Johnson. Somebody has to find seats for these guys, right?
Right.
that's right.
And Wesley mentioned that some of the did you mention some of the
many.
Democrats are going to sit it out?
Yeah, Fred said just before I came in here, approximately about 36 Democrats are going to skip this.
Yeah, there's your seats right there.
Well, that's what I would say, but I don't know if you can do that or not. Literally, I don't know if you can assign them seats that were designated for those.
I don't think you can. I mean, you have to put them up in the gallery, right?
Yeah, it's not general seating.
That's right.
Hey, y'all.
Go put some folding chairs down.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to do that.
What was the number of seats again?
36.
Perfect. There's 25 hockey players.
Well, there you
looked
go.
it up.
Okay.
And I'm sure the Democrats would be willing to accommodate.
For the USA team.
Yeah, for Team USA.
Team USA.
You think those Democrats that are there that actually go to the thing, do you think they'll stand and applaud? Because there have been times where they didn't applaud them.
Yeah, I think they will.
They should.
They should. That's a lot of people, though, to just throw into the mix 3 days before the event. But we'll see how that all works out.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the audio?
What now?
You want to play the audio of the
Yeah.
US
So
hockey
what are we
players?
about to hear?
These are hockey players talking about being honored to have been invited tonight. Clip 16.
Representing the U.S., obviously it's an honor, so we're ecstatic and we're excited to be back home celebrating.
It was super cool. It was an honor. It really is hearing from the President of the United States, hearing that, he was supporting us and all the other athletes and wanting us all to bring home as many gold medals as we can. So we're definitely honored to represent him and the millions, hundreds of millions across the country and bringing a gold medal back.
Now, Ray, the U.S. women's team.
Yeah, a little issue there, right?
Well, they were also invited to attend the. I don't know if they were they invited to attend the State of the Union or
I don't know, but they're invited to the White House.
To the White House. Now that may be at a later date. They did not accept the invitation to come. That would have been
That's a mistake. They should come. They should come. That's a mistake.
Yeah. So. Anyway, they, in fairness to them, it was an impromptu thing.
Yes.
So I'm saying that you had to make a decision. You're just getting home, and now you got to go to the. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it was political, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was practical. Who knows? But I do know that the president did invite the women's team, who also won the gold, to the to the event. Now, why is this becoming political, Chris?
I think it's the new virtue signaling. Used to be I wear a mask to protect people. That's what it was a few years ago during the COVID era. I think now it's cool or expected by some center-left athletes and special interest groups to boycott something like this based on the Trump administration's policies.
What do you think, Ray? What do you think about all this?
Look, I think it's great. When Obama had the winning teams in, great. Clinton did it great. Bush did it great. I know Mr. Trump is a kind of special category, right? He's something of a lightning rod, but I think it's just a crucial mistake, or it's a mistake for whoever is controlling the levers behind the Olympic. Look, that women's game, I watched it. I mean, most of it. The women's game was every bit as exciting as the men's gold medal game. I mean, both gold medals were won in overtime, and whoever made the decision to say the women not come to the White House, that's a mistake. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should come no matter who the president is. It's just, you're not endorsing the president, or
you're accepting an award.
You're just
in recognition.
You're accepting an honor on behalf of the people of the United States.
Regardless,
and the people of the United States are represented by their duly elected leaders, including
the president's going to serve you a table full of Big Macs and fries or whatever. He's done that before. So when these teams have shown up, it's a very unusual thing, right? Mr. Trump does things his own way, but everybody understands just because you go to the White House doesn't mean you voted for Obama or Clinton or Bush or Mr. Trump.
Are you just going to be honored by the office of the presidency? It's not the politics necessarily, and the left is the ones who make this. Although I do remember one time there was a pro-life football player, I think, who declined to go during the Obama.
Ben Watson, maybe?
I don't know. It was one pro-life. He declined to go, because out of conviction. And that's fine, but the team went. The team went, is what I'm saying. And so I don't know. A White House reception probably will follow later. But tonight, the hockey team, I guess they'll be wearing their jerseys, will be at the State of the Union. It's going to be interesting to see how much does that, are they going to be there the whole time or just for their to be honored and then exit?
Oh, I don't think you can get up and leave, Tim.
Okay.
I think once you're in there, you're in there for the duration.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, that's going to be cool to see the USA. Yep. Gold medalist. They upset Canada.
Yeah.
Canada had Ed and Fred, they follow hockey closely. They said if you just look at it on paper that the Canadian team was more talented, but in this one game, then not that the U.S. didn't have a lot of talented players, but that in this one game the U.S. prevailed in overtime. Right. All right. Well, we'll see what happens tonight with the hockey team and, of course, the president giving the
Let me ask you a question, Tim. Do we Iran is kind of hanging out over everything else. I'm sure he's going to talk a lot about the economy. Do you think he'll touch on the situation in the Middle East with all of our troops and all of our planes?
He has to.
Yeah.
I think it would be a glaring omission if he doesn't talk about the situation
probably
in Iran.
15 or 20 minutes on it. 15, probably 15 minutes on it.
We're about to go to war.
Yeah.
It appears.
Yeah. And it may be just a few days. And I only say that based on frequent comments from even Republican senators like Tom Cotton, who is of the opinion that we are days away from doing something to Iran. We have the audio if you want to play it.
Of who now?
This is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton.
Okay, let's go ahead and hear what he has to say.
I don't think war is ever inevitable, but I think the Iranians are going to have to wake up and take President Trump seriously. that graphic showed a lot of military firepower in the Middle East, and it's all pointed at Iran. And as you said, it's not just about their nuclear program, it's about their large ballistic missile arsenal that targets not just Israel, but our troops in the region and our other friends, and is growing in its length as well. And its support for terrorism. Evacuating some of our diplomats from Lebanon is just a reminder.
Why are we talking about that in our talks in Oman? Why are we just talking about a nuclear program that we obliterated?
Well, we're telling them that they have to come to the table with some kind of offer about that. We don't have to make an offer. Our offer can be you meet our demands or we bomb you. That's our offer. And if they don't make a more serious offer about stopping their support for terrorism in places like Lebanon and their missile program, I think they're going to learn the hard way.
Well, tell us what you really think. Good night. That was Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas talking about the situation between the U.S. and Iran. Ray, what do you make of a few months ago we bombed Iran, and of course it was a targeted attack, our attack against their nuclear facilities, and then I thought we had obliterated it, but now were they making, do you know anything about this? It seems awful quick to say they've revamped and come back again.
Well, a couple of sources, including one in Israel, they were saying, 4 days ago, that Iran was 1 week away from having whatever critical mass of uranium necessary to produce a nuclear warhead. And you never know how are we supposed to evaluate a fact like that? How do they even know that? But the Israelis are good at this, and our intelligence people are good at this. If they really are only a week away, then we bombed part of it back into smithereens, but it didn't stop the Iranians. And so it seems like Iran is. I'm thinking how to say this. I mean, who here is going to trust anything the Iranians say?
Yeah, well, President Reagan used to have a saying that he made famous. He said, "Trust but verify."
Right.
So it doesn't, so whatever the Iranians agree to, if they do agree to anything, then we will have to verify. Have to verify with, So, well, it's a very tense situation right now because, and I don't know how I feel. I'm conflicted on going to war without congressional authorization. Again, people might say, well, we haven't had congressional authorization on our declaration of war since, I guess, World War II.
Right.
I don't know. So we don't do that anymore. But even with the when we went to war in Iraq, there was a congressional approval. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if President Trump were to say, well, we're going to send ground troops, which I don't think he's going to do.
Right.
Then you would say, well, that would require some sort of congressional, or you'd at least try to get a congressional approval. What are you, Wesley? You're shaking your head.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this one. There's been a couple other instances where we've interacted with other countries.
You're having a hard time from which perspective?
I'm having a hard time understanding how any of this is America first and benefits us. I heard a couple people try to make that case this morning on Fox and other resources, but I'm just not buying it right now. I'm looking at this. There's been a few cases where we've interacted with other countries and done certain things, and with military, and we've done it within a day or two or within a couple hours, and we were in and out. And while someone like myself was trying to figure out how is this America first, it was already done and nobody was injured and no American troops were harmed. So you kind of like, well, okay. And then, but with this one, it seems like this is preparing for something that's more than an in and out, for using layman's terms here. So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. I don't think we should do this based on the information that I'm seeing as far as it relates to America first.
That's a good point, because President Trump's, a lot of his base voted to keep us out of foreign wars, right? That was his,
right.
and he's done that.
And he does that. And like I said, let's just, while we're talking about Iran, let's just focus on what he did a couple months back where he struck the nuclear site. Where
Right.
that right there, like before you could even really have an opinion on whether you like doing that or not, it was done and you're gone and no one's harmed.
Right.
And so, as far as the lens of America First, before you could even process it, but now this looks like more like an ongoing thing, and I'm going to have a hard time with the opinion.
I understand, and Ray, I think what's going to happen here. By the way, you're listening to the radio program Today's Issues.
And we need to
American
make this
Family
update.
Radio. What now?
Fred, let me back up real quick. Fred Jackson texted us and said that backing up to our previous conversation, only members of Congress can sit on the floor seats.
Okay.
I needed to mention
so you
that.
can't give them away.
Yep.
You're talking about these Democrats who are not going to be there, are not going to can't give their seats to the hockey players.
Right.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Not that they would probably, but back to Iran for just a moment. Okay, President Trump is going to, I think tonight, is going to have to make the case for military intervention in Iran, and he's going to have to make it in to me, a compelling way, Ray, because I think that, to Wesley's point, a lot of Americans are skeptical about starting a war with Iran. It must be a situation that's dire. I think President Trump would have to be convinced, right? By dire,
Right.
I mean imminent, that we don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon because they will use it. Because of their theological beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Ray? I mean,
you know, Wesley, the kind of operation you were talking about is what happened a few weeks ago with Maduro.
Same thing.
We sent the special forces in there, right? They parachuted in.
Right.
They got Maduro out.
In and
There
out.
was not a single casualty, right? On our side. That happened so fast, the rest of us went, okay, well, that worked. It's not going to be that way in Iran.
Yeah.
It can't be that way. Iran is a gigantic country.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of missiles and a lot of bombs. The president needs to make the case tonight to the American people that American interests are at stake over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. Do you go to war with, and it's just the president makes a call?
You can't. You can't.
Yeah. It is.
What
Or
now?
you're not supposed to, right?
Yeah, we haven't got a declaration of war.
Mm-hmm.
That is in, I think it's since World War II. Go ahead, Chris.
It is possible the president may also make some sort of mention about Russia and Ukraine, because it was 4 years ago today that Russia invaded Ukraine, which he's trying to still put a stop to.
But again, I'm torn on this one because you also don't want to tie the hands of the commander-in-chief
Right.
of our armed forces if he's duly elected. I know a lot of people hate President Trump, but he was duly elected, and we only have one president at a time, and he's the commander-in-chief. So you depend on, what he knows to make the right decision in terms of applying our military force around the world. We'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
What we see now is like the dim image in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. What I know now is only partial. Then it will be complete as God's knowledge of me. Sometimes this thing of following the carpenter of Galilee can get to be a very difficult thing. One of the most complex difficulties comes in the understanding of theology. For the average fellow, theology can sometimes get to be a very confusing and difficult subject to understand. I guess that's one reason there are so many varieties within the vast family of that fisher of men. Even after 7 years of higher education dealing specifically with the subject, I often find myself over my head in the subject. One of the tragedies of the difficulty is the unkind remarks some who are supposedly followers of Christ have made toward others who are trying equally as hard to follow. There's been a lot of heartache and heartbreak over this thing of theology. So difficult it becomes sometimes. Friend has berated friend, brother has belittled brother, Even child is criticized parent in this area. Personally, I don't believe any one person or any group has claim on all God's truth. And on the other hand, I believe that there are those who sincerely are trying to follow this grand Galilean who have some truth. The mind of the human is too small and too limited to comprehend all the truth of the Creator. Like I said, sometimes I get over my head and have to go back to some basic fundamentals of which I'm certain. And each time I step out into deep water theologically, I return thankful that the basic necessities are so simple, even a little child can understand. Some theology is like Greek to me, and I don't read Greek. I guess I'm kind of like the Southern farm boy back just prior to World War II. Having been around the country a little, I know what other sections think of when I say a Southern farm boy. And the story fits the pattern, although we Southerners aren't quite as illiterate as some of our better-versed Northern and Western friends might think. This farm boy got a questionnaire to fill out and return to the draft board. The questionnaire went into somewhat of a deep detail and had what was to the farm boy some confusing language in it. After studying it for some time and coming to the conclusion that he would not be able to fill it out completely and correctly, the farm boy took his pencil in hand and wrote across the top of the form the best answer he could think of. "Dear Uncle Sam," he wrote, "I'm not quite sure what you mean with all these here questions, but I want you to know I'm ready when you are." And then he signed his name. Theology does get quite difficult sometimes, but I don't think the Heavenly Father is concerned that we stay crystal clear in all our theological understanding. I believe what He wants the most is to know that we're ready when He is. And while that doesn't make theology simple, maybe it is a little clearer.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
However, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love Him. 1 Corinthians 2:9.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Wesley, Chris, and Ray, we thank you for listening to AFR, American Family Radio. Ray, you have any friends in the Northeast got slammed by this?
Got a ton up in our friends at America's Keswick and our friends at Harvey Cedars, which is a Bible conference. They're right on the Atlantic Ocean there, right on the Jersey Shore. Got, I don't know, maybe 30, maybe 35 inches of snow.
Wow.
And at America's Keswick, at least as of last night, they were a ton of snow had fallen, and they were mostly without power. So, yeah, got a lot of friends up there in that part of the country.
That was a sure enough blizzard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the people in New England and down to New Jersey. It may have reached Maryland and Virginia, I think, maybe some parts of Maryland and Virginia, but a lot of video footage from New York City. But you're talking about 20 to 15 to 30 in Delaware. Was it Delaware? Rhode Island. 40 inches of snow. So
I didn't even know 30 inches.
We'll be reading about the civilization that was Rhode Island in the history books.
Now, was this over a couple? I didn't see it.
This
couple
happened,
hours.
This happened a couple days ago. In the last 48 hours.
But did it? How long did it lasted? Did it snow that quickly, or was it over a period of time?
No, it was they got bombarded.
Wow.
Like the that much snow in 24 hours, basically, wasn't it, Ray?
Yeah.
So
and it just kept coming and kept coming. So you can't clear the roads, right?
Yeah.
You've got 37, 40 inches of snow.
And it's blowing, so you can imagine the drifts, right?
Some of the wind was up 50, 60, 70 miles an hour in some places.
So you can't send anybody out. You can't send first responders out. You can't send people to fix the power lines, not when the weather's that bad. Now, I think that's over. They'll get out now and try to, with a lot of people without power. And that's a very congested part of the country there in the Northeast. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. I think basically that area has they've not had brutal winters in a while. But they're paying the price now.
Right.
They're paying the price now, talking about it in New England. Krista, now, what's happening in Mexico?
Yeah, well, that's a lot of people. One of the things people do to escape cold weather is go to places like Mexico. But unfortunately, the State Department and other government agencies have been telling Americans there in Mexico to shelter in place, avoid travel.
Where in Mexico?
Oh, throughout the country. I mean, if you watch Fox or
shelter in place everywhere.
Pretty much. If you're in Mexico and you're white and you're American, shelter in place. That's the
don't go outside.
Correct. Because
why does it matter if you're white?
Well, I think you would be more easily noticeable than, say, if you were Hispanic. You might
sunburned.
No, it's not the sun.
Oh,
yeah. If you are a Hispanic person from America and you're in Mexico, they might not take you for being an American. But if you look like me, you stand out.
Okay.
But I think what he's getting at, and this was fun. I'll let you have your time. Okay. I think what he's getting at is, the cartels would would attack or be hostile toward Americans.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And pretty much, if you watch Fox or Newsmax, they show maps of Mexico and literally all the tourist spots that Americans might go to in Mexico. There's all kinds of issues where they are concerned about the health and safety.
I guess what I'm getting at, as far as I know, Ray, the only major airport that's shut down is the Port of Vallarta.
Right.
Which is where this began, because what happened is, for those who missed the news story,
over the weekend, right?
The president of Mexico, the lady, what's her name?
Sheinbaum is her last name.
That's her name?
Her last name is Sheinbaum.
Oh, okay. That's not her first name. First name's not Shine.
Claudia Sheinbaum.
Okay, Claudia Sheinbaum. She's the president.
Move quickly here.
I know. She's the president of Mexico. And she authorized the killing of one of the top drug lords in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And the drug lords, men are responding with violence against the government. They've killed, they've killed
25. 25.
25, government soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an internal war there between the government and the cartels. Or at least one cartel.
Tim, you think about a cartel and you think, okay, you got 50 people or 100 people or a couple of hundred. I read on one source that said this cartel, the fellow that was killed, the head guy, has between 15 and 20,000 members. That's an army, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not a gang the way we think of a gang. 15 to 20,000 highly armed men ready to kill at the drop of a hat.
You know who I feel sorry for in this, and Mexico has always had let's face it, they've always had a reputation of being corrupt, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've always known that the drug cartels exist, but the people in the tourism industry are going to be really hurt.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in Mexico that depend on tourism for their livelihood, and at least temporarily they're going to be suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. But I would imagine, I hope this doesn't happen, but I would imagine there'll be attempts on the life of the president of Mexico.
No, probably so.
Yeah,
maybe there are anyway, but. For her to, somebody said, cross the Rubicon. That is, these next few weeks is going to be very volatile for the country.
I do have some audio from some of the stranded tourists in Mexico here. It is clip 7.
the fires and the smoke covered the whole city. And as new fires were started, we could see the new fires start going off.
Some of the vehicles that were burned down, they looked like taxi cabs that were burnt down. So the taxis stopped moving, Uber stopped moving. There's no coming in and out of the city unless you own a vehicle.
You're seeing a war zone behind you, and we've got people come back to the hotel before all this happened saying, do not go out. There's cars on fire. So right then hey, I'm not leaving. I'm stuck here. And there's no way out.
I guess, I'm just guessing that the Americans who are there and other people who are international tourists there in Puerto Vallarta, is that the way you pronounce it?
Yes.
A very popular site. You've got Cancun's the #1 site for at least for Americans to visit in Mexico, and then you have Los Cabos. Is that the way? Cabo, as they call it, on the Baja Peninsula.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very popular, and then Puerto Vallarta is also and Acapulco. I mean, you're talking about legendary,
Cozumel
tourist sites. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. But I would imagine they would move those tourists if they can on buses. Well, I don't know how the buses. I don't know. They're going to have to get to Mexico City. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how far that is to get to another major airport to get out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Because the airport at least has been shut down. Is it still shut down? Do you know, Chris?
I'm not sure at this
I'm talking about the
moment.
All right.
Man, from Puerto Vallarta to Mexico City is about 10 hours.
A 10-hour drive?
And I would imagine on a bus in Mexico, that's probably
That's a
longer
haul.
than 10 hours. Yeah.
Well, maybe I was just thinking if you're there, you would try to get a cab or somebody to get you out.
Sure.
But right now, maybe nobody's going in and out of there. So
a lot of missionaries in Mexico. I mean, I know my church supports one. Everybody's church probably, whether you know it or not, you and your house of worship probably support a missionary in Mexico.
Yeah. All right, you're listening to today's Issues on American Family Radio. What's your next story, Chris?
All right, so there is a female by the name of Nope Brigade. I have no idea if that's a fake name, but this individual's name is Nope Brigade.
Nope Brigade?
Yeah, Nope, like Nope.
Okay.
Brigade.
Okay, that's your name.
Yeah. She made the decision. Now, No Brigade is a PhD who describes herself as a, quote, scholar of the far right. In other words, she is your resource when you need information on things like the far right and Christian nationalism.
That's
and
what
all
she
these
would
other
call us.
Yes. All right, so Nope Brigade is one of those
probably
people.
listens to this show.
Oh, I'm sure she does. Hey, Nope.
Yeah.
How you doing?
For what? Yeah.
All right, so Nope made the decision to leave the United States of America. She lived in L.A. with her family, and they fled the U.S. They went to Canada to escape Trump, and then she realized how horrible of a mistake that was based on things like the cost of living and housing.
So what? We don't know if this is her real name or not.
I have no idea.
So she's
That's what she goes by.
She's a
is she an influencer?
Is she a blogger or she?
Basically, she does a number of things from videos and writing.
She tries to keep up with groups like ours and others who are. She says we're threats to America,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she, when President Trump got elected, she said, "I'm out of here,"
right?
Because I'm not going to suffer the oppression that I will. So she picked up her family. How many members of her family?
I think like 6.
And they moved to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Got her.
Yes, and then she realized
So then
how bad of a mistake that was.
Again, that's her name. We're not making this up. NOPE. You can look her up.
And the reason Chris said, I'm not sure if that's her name because
I don't think it is.
Because people do have their when you grow in popularity, usually you got a stage name. Or
Nobody names their kid Nope.
Right. That's like being a weatherman named Rod Lightning.
Okay. So her name is NOPE. Nope Brigade. I bet you that's like Nope against the right.
Probably so.
Brigade, which I think is a very militant last name to use. That's very unfortunate. It promotes violence.
It does.
Right?
It does.
So the Nope Brigade. So her name is Nope Brigade. So the point is, she moves to Vancouver to escape Trump's America.
Mm-hmm.
She gets up there, Ray, and she realizes. What does she realize, Chris?
Well, it cost a lot to live there.
What now? She's complaining?
Now she's complaining the housing crisis is worse in Canada than it was in L.A.
She
which
didn't.
has a housing
She
crisis.
did not know this.
Yeah.
She didn't do her. Nope, didn't do her homework.
Yeah, and she's a PhD, by the way.
Well,
which insert joke here about PhD.
then you would think somebody is a scholar.
She should know this.
She should. She did done her research and her homework, but
Yeah.
she evidently didn't do it. And she gets to Vancouver and says, "Oh man, oops."
Right, and don't take my word for it. Listen to Nope herself.
Okay, listen to her.
Clip 15.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. And in Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to. And that's understandable. You know, I'm not a citizen of the country, but it is making the financial situation dire because we can't work.
All right, let me call Nope out here for just a moment.
Please do.
With all due respect to Nope, I'm not going to call her Nope the Dope. I mean, that's just
Dr. Nope.
No, that would be too easy, and it'd be.
What is it again? You wouldn't say?
I would not call her Nope the Dope.
Okay.
Because
We
that
would not
comes
do
to
that.
mind, but I think that would be disrespectful.
That's right.
You know, so Nope, N-O-P-E, that's what she
Yeah.
goes by. She gets up there, and you heard her. She realizes I made a big mistake in the sense that it costs more to live in Canada than it comes to live in the United States. But what's interesting to me, she said we can't access the medical. What did she say?
We can't access the free medical system because she's not
we're
a
not
Canadian.
Okay, I'll bet you, if she were in the U.S., she would say we should not be denying medical services to
Anyone.
to anyone,
Illegal or
undocumented or anywhere, because that's that's inherently racist. But she didn't offer that. She said it's understandable. Am I right?
Yeah.
When she goes into a left wing sort of country and
they
they
deny her.
deny services because you have to be a citizen to access it. Then all of a sudden she
I
changes.
can understand. It makes sense. If I was them,
Right.
I would do the same thing.
Let's listen to, because this
This is important.
This is the hypocrisy, and there's hypocrisy all around the world. I
Sure.
understand that, but this is the hypocrisy of the left on Trump. Because I want to listen to pay attention to what she says here again. Because remember, now Ellen DeGeneres has she's done a full reversal. She's coming back to California because she can't take the being alone out in the British countryside.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other one that?
There was a
Rosie O'Donnell?
Rosie, that one.
Rosie O'Donnell, Trump's favorite actress.
Yeah.
She's coming back. They were there a few months to protest Trump fascism, and then they said, "Well, we'd rather go risk it back in the U.S. And risk Trump's wrath on us than endure the weather and the loneliness that they had to experience over there in Ireland." I think she went to Ireland, Rosie O'Donnell, right? I think she went to Ireland.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hear the logic of
No,
no.
don't say the other.
I'm not. I don't. Nope. Again.
I'm a scholar of the far right
Yes,
who
you are.
has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The
Okay.
situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. And in Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to. And that's understandable. You know, I'm not a citizen of the country, but it is making the financial situation dire because we can't work.
So she got a GoFundMe page that I can.
Yeah.
She left and didn't bring enough money with her.
That's what she's saying. She wants everybody to bail her out.
Yeah.
She needs help.
Needs some help.
Anyway, that's
a little
all right.
fun.
Yep. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. Next story, Chris.
All right, let's talk about something that's going on in Nashville, Tennessee.
What's going on in Nashville?
There's a guy named Eric Rivera who is a public school charter school teacher in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And he was told he must read a book involving a same-sex couple to his first grade students or be terminated. After Eric requested a religious accommodation, the school reassigned him to a different role, stating that he must comply with the school's messaging to teach first grade, even if he must forfeit his religious beliefs to do so, constitutionally protected religious beliefs. First Liberty's Cliff Martin wrote the school a letter
Who's
saying...
First Liberty, for those who don't know?
First Liberty is a law firm that protects and fights for our First
Right, they're our
Amendment
friends.
freedoms.
Yeah.
And Cliff Martin, an attorney there, wrote the school a letter saying, what you've done is wrong. You have X amount of days to change your mind or else. Clip 13.
Mr. Rivera was entitled to an accommodation under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, and the principal in particular violated the act when she retaliated against Mr. Rivera and threatened termination upon him. And so our letter informed the district that they were in violation of Title VII and that they also may be in violation of some Tennessee laws. In particular, there is a Tennessee law that requires parental notification of LGBTQ materials, and we do not have reason to believe that they have provided that notification. We understand from our client that no such notification was given, and so, or at least he's not aware of any, and so we wanted to advise the district of that as well.
Now, Martin told me at afn.net that they've given the school until February 27th to respond, so we'll have a part 2 on this if the Lord tarries.
What's the teacher's name?
Eric Rivera.
Well, good for him.
Yep.
So he's a first grade teacher?
Mm-hmm. At a charter school.
A charter school, which is a public school that's allowed to do experimental things that your normal public schools aren't, right?
Correct. You can do, if you wanted to really focus on science.
And they're usually more successful academically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So the point is that, he was told you got to read to first graders a book about what?
A same-sex couple. It was like, me and my two dads kind of thing.
And he said, I'm not doing that. I declined to do that, and I can claim a religious exemption, right?
Correct.
And then they fired him.
But at first they accommodated him.
They like.
And then they canned him.
Yeah, pretty much. They moved him to the side, and then, you have to do this or else.
We don't need. It's one thing to have these conversations. First of all, great job on First Liberty, and I'm thankful for Eric for standing up and doing what's right. However, we need to be, if we're going to cover a story like this, it needs to happen in California or New York. Tennessee, if you live in Tennessee and you're within a 30-minute drive of Nashville, you need to call and make a scene, do something, or make a scene. You need to call and just complain, like,
support this guy.
We need to support this guy. It shouldn't.
We'll find out how we can support him.
But I'm just saying, this stuff like this shouldn't come up in
the red states.
Yeah.
It does. But,
if it comes up,
the idea that you would force a man to
first graders
read to first graders about homosexual marriage, Ray, is just that somebody's doing that on purpose.
That's right.
On purpose.
That's right. This is ideological strangulation.
Yeah,
it's
right.
We talk about indoctrination, friends. This is what indoctrination is.
Yeah.
When you are mandating that first graders be read stories about same-sex marriage, two women, two men, as if that is normal, good, proper, and the right way or one of the good ways for a family to organize itself, and to further threaten a teacher if he refuses.
I know. You're talking about 6-year-olds, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
5 and 6-year-olds.
5 and 6-year-olds. They can't even process. And they're supposed to process. You're asking them to force upon them.
And with
two men,
even at that age, that they know better than they know enough. Even at 6 and 7 and 8 years old, they know if they see two men holding, that's wrong. Two men holding hands, that's wrong. So when they're having to read it as if it's a normal thing.
Yeah, let's follow this story because I do. Appreciate this gentleman.
Yep, me too.
Standing up
for
himself and for common sense.
I'll send the case page and our story to AFA.
Is this on AFN, by the way?
It is. I posted that link on our Today's Issues Facebook.
Where does it have the town that took place in?
Murfreesboro. Well, Antioch, Tennessee.
That's a suburb of Nashville, right?
Okay, so is Antioch, Tennessee located at, that's the actual address I'm about to read, 365 Murfreesboro's Pike. Yeah.
Okay, it's in Nashville, the Nashville area.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're listening to the radio program Today's Issues on American Family Radio. What's the fellow's name? We'll ask people to pray for him.
Eric Rivera.
And he's being represented by First Liberty?
Correct.
Who we just heard from
Mm-hmm.
a few minutes ago. First Liberty does excellent work across the country defending religious liberty and freedoms. Kelly Shackelford, the CEO there. They're based out of the Dallas area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, you're listening to Today's Issues. What's the next story, Chris?
Well, for our listeners and supporters in Kansas, there's a new law about to take effect where the state of Kansas is doing away with so-called transgender driver's licenses, and they're going to begin requiring people in government buildings to use the bathrooms for the gender they were assigned at birth. This is something that Kansas Family Voice pushed for, and a lot of people called lawmakers. The governor actually vetoed this bill, but the supermajority of Republicans overrode that veto in recent days. And so, again, Kansas is going to be doing away with transgender driver's licenses this week and requiring people to use bathrooms in certain government buildings.
What does a transgender driver's license look like?
Well, it's the
what
same.
does that even mean?
It's the same thing as
Dude,
our
look
driver's
like a lady?
licenses. When it comes to a gender, it will there's like an X where you, or if you're a man identifying as a woman, you can put yourself down as a female, that kind of thing. Okay. And in Kansas,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna rewind here. Give me that again, Chris.
A transgender driver's license looks just like ours.
Okay.
But under gender, some states allow for X to be put there.
What does X mean?
It means you identify as something other than the sex you were given at birth. Or if you're a man,
so you can pick and choose.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you can pick and choose, really, you shouldn't have.
That's a little disappointing. I was expecting the transit to have the rainbow flag in the background.
All right, listen. A sex identification on a driver's license is there for a purpose and a reason. It's so that you can be, if you have a car accident, for example, or if you're trying to get into a place that requires an ID, you have to have a male-female. Mm-hmm. So they can know who you are in case something happens, or just if you're going to have and let people have a driver's license based on how they feel, then don't even have a mark for male, female, because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if people can just put anything they want to. But you're saying what's happened now is in Kansas, the legislature overrode the governor, she's a lefty, by the way.
She a radical lefty.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but she got elected in Kansas, basically a conservative state. But the legislature overrode her and said, no, we're having male, female, and that's all you can have.
Yep, and that starts this week.
That starts this week, okay. All right, we'll be back in a couple of minutes, after the news. Fred Jackson will be in, and Chris, thank you for your contributions to this here show. We'll see you in a minute, everybody.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Do you know the largest unpaid and untrained workforce in America? It's not in a factory or an office. It's the 65 million family caregivers. And if that is you, I understand the journey you're on.
Peter Rosenberger has been a caregiver for 4 decades. He's the host for Hope for the Caregiver, Saturday mornings at 7 Central on AFR.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. President Trump is set to address Congress tonight in his annual State of the Union speech, and there is expected to be a big focus on the economy as the president continues to tout the benefits of the One Big Beautiful bill. The president taking to Truth Social last night to promote the expected refunds of the 2026 filing season, arguing that most taxpayers will see bigger refunds this time around. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer praising the legislation for putting more money in the pockets of Americans.
The benefits of this once-in-a-generation tax bill reach far and wide. While monumental in its impact, tax relief is only part of President Trump's successful economic agenda.
While the snow may have stopped falling, the travel headaches persist at airports across the country. Grady Trimble has the latest from Chicago's O'Hare International Airport.
More than 2,000 cancellations preemptively today because the airlines are trying to catch up from the issues of the past couple of days. Most of the issues that we're seeing today are in the areas that were, of course, directly hit by the storm, especially in New York City and in Boston. Both of those cities saw anywhere between 1.5 feet up to 2 feet of snow and even more in some areas. Around half of all of the flights out of JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, and Boston's Logan International Airport are canceled today. When you add up disruptions since Sunday, the storms have canceled or delayed more than 21,000 flights.
Cartel violence breaking out across Mexico, leaving 25 Mexican National Guard troops and more than 24 criminal suspects dead. This following the killing of the cartel leader known as El Mencho. The State Department says its personnel in the country are sheltering in place and urging U.S. citizens in Mexico to do the same. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the State Department has provided guidance to Americans stuck in Mexico and also gave a warning to the cartels.
Right now, we are unaware of any reports of any Americans being hurt, kidnapped, or killed, and the Mexican drug cartels know not to lay a finger on a single American or they will pay severe consequences under this president.
Police in Britain said Peter Mandelson, the former UK ambassador to the United States, has been released on bail after he was arrested in a misconduct probe stemming from his ties to the late Jeffrey Epstein. It came days after a friendship with Epstein landed the former Prince Andrew in police custody. Niall Gardner, former aide of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, says this may just be the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, and I think this is a massive, can of worms that's opening up, and it also reveals, in my view, the high levels of misjudgment, but also potentially corruption within the socialist Labour government of Keir Starmer. I mean, this government is going to collapse, I think, and I think that Keir Starmer's government is bringing the UK into disrepute. The appointment of Lord Mandelson was an absolute disgrace, and in fact, Starmer was warned by multiple British members of Parliament against this appointment. And it's now all blowing up in a massive way here.
A first-grade teacher in Nashville was banished from the classroom. As Chris Woodward explains, he was asking an accommodation from having to read a pro-same-sex marriage book.
Eric Rivera is a public charter school teacher who was told he must read a book involving a same-sex couple to his first-grade students or be terminated. After Eric subsequently requested a religious accommodation, the school reassigned him to a different role, stating that he must comply with the school's messaging to teach first grade, even if he must forfeit his religious beliefs to do so. Rivera's attorneys at First Liberty Institute sent a letter to the school demanding that the school clear his record and adopt policies that ensure teachers are accommodated. First Liberty attorney Cliff Martin.
Mr. Rivera was entitled to an accommodation under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. And the principal in particular violated the act when she retaliated against Mr. Rivera and threatened termination upon him. And so our letter informed the district that they were in violation of Title VII and that they also may be in violation of some Tennessee laws.
First Liberty has given the school until February 27th to respond to the letter. I'm Chris Woodward.
There's more at AFN.net and the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
The Lord is my shepherd. Those are the first 5 words of the 23rd Psalm, and they're printed on the front of the Psalm 23:1 apparel in the AFA Resource Center. Those words, along with the image of a lamb, will be a simple reminder to you and others that your trust is in the one who never fails. They're available as t-shirts or sweatshirts in a variety of colors. So check out the Psalm 23:1 collection anytime at resources.afa.net.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the radio program Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening to AFR. Tim, Wesley, and Ray, and now our colleague here, Fred Jackson, joins us. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning to you guys.
So tonight I was seeing that a majority of the American people want the president to talk mostly about the economy. Fred, do you see this?
Yeah, that's the economy comes up as the number one issue, political issue for most Americans.
Why do you think so?
Well, a lot of it has to do with that being the focus of the mainstream media, who keeps telling us that this is one of the worst places in the world to live. You know, the economy is just absolutely terrible. And what they're reporting doesn't reflect reality. There has been a great improvement over the last year in our economy. Gas prices. There are still some food prices that are expensive, yes. But I tell you, Americans are a lot better off than they were a year ago in most places.
Are they really? You think so?
In most
I don't
places.
know.
Now, the exceptions being in larger centers like New York, like Los Angeles. Those are expensive places to live.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But if you're polling, if these polling agencies go heavily into people from New York or Minneapolis or Los Angeles or San Francisco, you're going to get warped polls. If you
those are liberal places anyway.
They are. So I mean, everybody has to make their own decision. I encourage people often, don't listen to the polls. And make sure you know what agency is polling, because I get very suspicious of it. But a lot of it has to do, and we've talked about this a lot, there is Trump derangement syndrome out there amongst the mainstream media. You know, I look at the Associated Press every day. They cannot do a story about Donald Trump without putting a very negative spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to...
So I don't know what to believe anymore, though, because I see these polls, and I'm like you guys. I mean, especially Ray as a conservative, we're skeptical, right? And there is Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. That is, anything he does, they are going to put a negative slant on or oppose. They being the liberal news media and so you just wonder, well, how much of this polling is intentionally skewed to try to make President Trump look bad? That you do wonder that. On the other hand, I go, well, if I see 4 or 5 polls that say he's doing poorly with independent voters, for example, or Hispanic voters, or on the economy, then I go, well, maybe there's something to that. You know, I don't know. But the burden is, I think, tonight on the president, and he's going to spend a lot of time to demonstrate to the American people through the unfiltered State of the Union address the things that he and his administration have done to improve the economy.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as seniors, talking to seniors with the results of the things that President Trump has done to cut back on your taxes, seniors are getting a really good deal. What they're getting, their refunds this year are much higher than they were a year ago.
We're going to get that?
Yes, because of the...
Am I a senior now?
Are you a senior?
Well, I'm 62.
62. You mean, I'm sorry, you're not quite there yet.
I'm a young senior.
Yes. I'm in my 70s.
I try to claim that thing when they give the discounts, so.
Yes.
You know.
Well,
we'll pay attention. You're in your 70s?
I'm in my 70s.
So you're a middle-aged senior.
Yeah, I'm a middle-aged senior. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That term, middle-aged.
Ray's a middle-aged senior.
Sounds
what are you, 70,
nice.
Ray?
I'm 73.
Yeah.
73. You guys.
Listen.
You guys are in the prime of your senior years.
Yes, we are.
You know, I listened to the U.S. hockey players as they were getting off the plane yesterday in Miami. So many of those guys said, we're so glad to be home.
Yeah.
You know, they were happy about the results of the game, obviously. But we are so happy to get home. Listen, if you've traveled abroad at all, you're glad to get back.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to visit these places, you know, whether it's Italy or whatever the case, but you are really glad to get home.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I did a student exchange in Scotland.
Okay.
Where they put me on that student exchange was a little village called Brora.
Okay.
Up in northeastern Scotland.
Scotland.
Okay. You couldn't find a hamburger if your life depended on it.
That's a problem.
That's it. You know, we have an employee who lives in South Korea.
Yeah.
He comes home every now and then. He told me he gets, they fly from South Korea to San Francisco or whatever.
Right.
First thing he does, goes to Whataburger.
Get up my hamburger. Double cheeseburger.
Double cheese. All of that to say, this is still one of the best, if not the best place to live,
Right.
which is why so many 15, 20 million people try to break into this country.
Right.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden made it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the economy side of things, just some of my quick thoughts. He'll probably mention what he was given when he came into office, and then where we're at.
Okay.
However, I will say though that I think we have to temper I had to about 6 months in check my expectations and have more realistic expectations. One, we're never going to go back pre-COVID days. What you're going to have to do is over time just adapt or catch up with.
In other words, the prices aren't coming down.
Not back pre-COVID down.
I got you.
And so I think what you're going to have to see is the cost of living increase just to catch up over years. I do think he has made a tremendous amount of progress in light of taking over the economy that he did. And on the other hand, he's also whatever small amount he has improved, he's still got 3 years left.
Yeah.
But I do think it depends on, like I said, context is going to matter. Expectations are going to matter too.
You think we're going to get tariff talk tonight, Fred?
Tariff talk.
Yeah, because we love doing that here on this show.
Yeah, well,
you listen to Ray. Ray can go on for hours.
It's Ed's favorite.
On tariff talk.
Ed's not here. It's his favorite. He's going to be disappointed that we left him out. That we chose.
Well, Ed will be on tomorrow, and we'll just turn him loose.
We chose Tuesday.
Okay, Fred. What about tariff talk? We getting that tonight?
It may come in the context of him staring at members of the United States Supreme Court,
yes, right.
who usually sit right off to his right as he's standing up there. Six of them are definitely off his Christmas list.
Christmas card.
There is no question about that. But he's fighting back. He says he's going to. I think the way it works, he can impose a 15% for a number of months before you'd have to go to Congress to get that renewed.
Right.
If you think Donald Trump is putting up the white flag on this, think again. He will not.
The ruling, of course, came down last week that President Trump's use of tariffs under the emergency clause. Now, I'm going to say this.
No.
This is what Tim believes, and it's not in the Bible, so it's subject to disagreement among friends. Okay. I think just the way that Trump did the tariffs just was not an emergency. That's what I think. Okay, so if you're going to say, does Trump's tariffs fall under the emergency use, I would say no. They fall under whatever Trump wanted to do on that day.
He probably had a strategy.
Right. Now, if you were to ask President Trump and people in his administration, they would probably say, well, the trade imbalance with these countries constituted an emergency we needed to deal with to rectify. That's what they're going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't surprised when the Supreme Court ruled like they did. Now, I just don't believe, me personally, that any president should have the kind of unilateral power that Trump was using with these tariffs without having to go through Congress. And I know a lot in Congress would disagree with him, but I think since Wayne didn't go through Congress, he would say what's for the betterment of our American economy and to correct trade imbalances. And I understand that, but still there's a process you got to go through. You can't give too much power to any one individual, including the president. And those are my thoughts there. But
We had some big wins though in the meantime.
yeah, but are we gonna listen? What's gonna happen? Are we gonna have to give all this money back?
No.
I mean, FedEx is suing the Trump administration, right?
That is correct.
Why are they suing him?
Well, I'm assuming, I was a little surprised by that. I thought the countries were paying those tariffs, but apparently, when a FedEx plane leaves Japan, they have to, when they enter the country, they have to pay that tariff, and I guess they get recouped. But yeah, they're apparently suing the federal government to get, and other companies are too.
So you're telling me that the president then announced, of course, he was very gentle in his criticism of the Supreme Court.
Very calculated,
very diplomatic.
Right. He really held back.
Yeah, he really held back. And they're going to be there tonight. They're supposed to be there on the front row, sitting on the front row.
We'll see how many are missing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
But we'll see. But but he is imposing a 15% across the board worldwide.
Yes.
Right? But you're saying he can only do that for a few months.
But he can only do that for several months before he has to go to Congress to get that renewed.
So you think that Trump really, growing up, really liked the game that's better to ask for forgiveness than permission?
Yes.
That's the way he operates, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that that's kind of the New York, real estate in him. I think, wheeler dealer, make a deal and go get as much as you can, right? Till they say no, and then fight them when they say no. That kind of approach. So, anyway, go ahead, Fred.
Well, can I go back for just a second? I enjoyed your conversation of the so-called scholar of the far right, who thought life was going to be better.
Yes, brigade, and we're not.
Probably says a lot about her. But anyway, I just for fun, while you guys were talking, I just Googled Vancouver cost of living.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Guess what comes up?
And you used to live there, right?
Oh, yeah. I lived there for 10 years.
Yeah.
Here's what comes up when you Google that.
Okay.
Vancouver consistently ranks as one of the Canada's most expensive cities to live in. Other sources say one of the most expensive places in the world to live in.
In the world, yeah.
All right. For instance, a one-bedroom apartment in Vancouver, $2,500 a month.
Good.
Whoa.
Wait, that's renting.
That's renting.
Oh, man.
$2,500
We can end the show right now.
Yeah. So all you had to do was Google that. Apparently, this scholar of the far right didn't do much Googling.
So that's not hidden. That's not like
Oh, no.
Yeah, and now she's whining. She's on the internet whining. She didn't have enough money to live up there.
She didn't have enough money to get back.
She's gonna have to go back to the land of the Nazis.
Yeah.
Start walking.
When we moved to Vancouver in 1987, at the eastern end of the Vancouver International Airport, it was an old kind of World War II little village there, and 800 square foot houses, that kind of thing. They were selling for $90,000 roughly at that time.
Okay.
800 square feet. When we left 10 years later, they were selling for over $200,000. 800 square feet, 50, 60 years old. At the end of the runway.
Why is that, Fred? Is it a lot of why is there a lot of competition for the housing?
What happened was in the 80s, when China announced it was taking control of Hong Kong again.
Yes.
And Hong Kong was just an economic hub of the world.
Right.
What happened was the people, the very wealthy people who lived there said, we're getting out of town.
Okay, and they all headed to Vancouver.
They went to Vancouver, they went to Toronto, San Francisco.
Right.
So these wealthy millionaire Asians came into Vancouver, and we lived in Richmond, which was one of their favorite places because Richmond it's a suburb of Vancouver.
I got you.
Very flat. A lot of Asian people have superstitions about luck running out, so they don't tend to live on hills.
I do the same thing. No, but I don't
For your golf game?
Well, I don't talk about it much, but go ahead.
All right. So we rented. We rented from an Asian family who got.
Are you serious about the flat
Yes.
They don't build on hills?
Yes, and they don't like to live at the end of a street where the car lights shine into their house.
Wow.
No,
that ain't anything to do with luck. That's just dumb if you put your house there.
And they don't like houses where the front door lines up with the back door because your luck will run out.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
Are you writing these down?
I'm writing these down. This is all why the. So that does make sense. Hong Kong changed over. Communist China took over. The wealthy people got out of Hong Kong. They moved to Canada and the U.S., primarily to Vancouver, Toronto, and San Francisco. I remember when this happened.
Yep.
And so that caused the housing market to boom.
Crazy.
Prices to go crazy because of all this competition among people who had a lot of money.
Yes.
And then the average person there was left with, I guess, in some cases, their house goes up and they benefit from it, but then they got people moving into town. They can't, like this lady here, they can't find affordable housing.
We lived in Richmond, split level. We rented, and our landlords were fantastic for the whole time we were there. 10 years.
Richmond, Ontario. British Columbia. Yep. Just for people listening in Virginia who think talking there.
Suburb of Vancouver. Yeah. These split levels were selling for about $1 million by the time we left. About $1 million. They would come in. The folks moving in from Hong Kong would come in. They'd buy the old split level, tear it down, and put up a 4,000 square foot house on a fairly small lot.
Okay.
But they're selling for over $1 million.
Wow.
Very basic housing. So for this lady to go there and be shocked by how much it costs to live there, it's just nonsense. If you're going to move, I would say if you want to move to Canada, go to Saskatchewan and build a house in the wheat fields. All right? If you want a lower cost of living, go right ahead and do that and suffer the winters. If that's what you want to do.
Saskatchewan. That's where people freeze to death there, don't they?
Yeah.
I want to know.
I lived in Saskatchewan for a while, too, while I was in the military. And while I was there, it was December of the year. I had to get my car towed in twice because the engine froze.
Froze?
Yes.
Froze.
Yeah. So before
does the engine burst when that happens?
It just wouldn't start.
Okay.
It froze.
It says no. It just gives up.
Yeah.
Yeah. At last going off, I'd leave the car running all night because it was cheaper than getting the car towed.
Well, hey, do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. But that's why it's so cheap to live there.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's your name. The Nope Brigade.
Not doing it.
Nope.
All right. You're listening to today's issues on AFR. Anything you want to say to what Fred's talking about here, Ray?
Who, me?
Yeah, you know anything about the Vancouver real estate market?
Look. I'm on the wheat fields in Saskatchewan thinking about. I mean, the weather there is pretty. I mean, that's pretty
for the month of August.
Not bad.
Not bad in August.
You go for there. They have summer 2 weeks in August in Saskatchewan. No, it's.
We love Saskatchewan.
Have you ever been there?
Flown over it. No, I guess I've been to. What's the capital of Saskatchewan?
Regina.
I've been there once. I did a radio gig there once 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice people. You could see forever. Pretty flat. You could see forever.
I was based in Moose Jaw, which is about 50 miles west of Regina. No kidding. When you get over the Trans-Canada Highway and start heading towards Regina, you can see it. It's that flat.
Really?
You can see the lights of the city.
From Moose Jaw?
From Moose Jaw.
You can see. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see the world from Moose Jaw. Oh man, you know you're in Canada when you
see them.
When you're in Moose Jaw. That's where the Canadian rednecks live, right? Huh?
There's one turn in the highway between Moose Jaw and Regina, 50 miles. One turn.
Oh boy.
All right.
That's your homework, guy.
There you go.
Go look that up.
Next story.
All right, listen,
Fred.
Good news.
Okay, give me some good news.
When I came here in 1997, one of the big stories was Gay Days at Disney World. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Big event. AFA was warning people about.
Right.
It's been canceled for this year.
Why?
June. It's been canceled. The announcement just came a few days ago, and apparently, and we've done stories on this too. that the corporate sponsors are just backing away from LGBT events. We've heard stories like cities have pride days, that sort of thing.
They're also canceling their DEI programs inside corporations.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. It's all connected.
I wonder if the fad of supporting that is kind of, well, you know what? Quite frankly, the LGBTQ, they don't have much left to conquer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, seriously.
Okay? But I am kind of surprised that Disney would not. So Disney's not having gay days.
Not this year.
Okay, interesting. Well, that's good. You know, what would happen was at Disney World, and I guess Disneyland,
I was just going to add. Well, you go ahead.
I would just say
thoughts on this.
What would happen would be these gay and lesbian people would come and flaunt their sexuality.
That's right.
By the thousands.
In front of the kids.
Yes.
And I mean, flaunt it. Listen, nobody, I don't care if gay and lesbian or queer people go to
wherever.
Go to a theme park while I'm there. I don't care. I'll be nice to them, you know. But when you want to intentionally flaunt your, dress up and flaunt your lifestyle and behavior in front of families with small children, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that.
Yes.
But they did it intentionally, and that's what the problem was. Go ahead.
Yes. And of course,
you want to say something, Wesley?
Yeah, I was just going to add. I've mentioned this before, but just a quick recap is that when they have conquered everything, that's true. And I think if they would have stopped at conquering everything, they would have probably had a little bit more. I think I think you're about to get a negative reaction, because of what we're seeing of the forcing, of doing it this way, such as Eric being forced to read a gay book.
Like we talked about earlier.
The
first graders.
You're seeing a distancing from them, as opposed to just, okay, if you want to have
I think most Americans are fine with live and let live. But when you start pushing your stuff on us,
especially on our kids,
on the kids, Ray, you start pushing an agenda on the children, and they're not your children.
That's right.
People get angry.
So I think you're gonna see a little bit more of this moving forward.
Yeah.
And I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go to Disney World. Go to Disneyland. You don't have to dress up like like you're trying to flaunt your what you do in your lifestyle. Go ahead.
And one last thing on this, in this same recap here, about 5 years ago, and I need to go have this on hand closer, but about 5 years ago, we sent an email out, an action alert out on it, or information out on it through an email, that at that point, the junior high and high school students, about 4 or 5 years ago, so they would be in college now, at that time, they were polling that they were on the conservative side of the LGBT movement. They were opposed to it.
Okay.
By and large, because they were tired of having to answer for it.
Having it force-fed?
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, Ellen DeGeneres, she's an open lesbian, and she's fled America to go to England, to the forest there.
Oh man.
To a cabin to escape Trump's America, and now
she's still over there.
No, she came back.
She came back.
She
Okay.
said I'm going back to sunny California, but I'm gonna be risking my life.
Oh, brother.
So
Ray's just asking questions.
She didn't really say that. I said that, but that's what her actions prove. That her actions prove that leaving America in the first place was phony. It was just for a show. All right, have a great day, everybody. Keep listening to American Family Radio. We'll see you back here tomorrow.